The corridor outside the executive dining room is long, carpeted in a shade of burgundy so dark it swallows the sound of footsteps. I pause beneath a chandelier whose crystal tiers refract the afternoon light into small, precise knives that never quite reach the floor. I am early, deliberately so, because lateness is a form of apology, and apology is a scent that power tracks like blood. I breathe once, slowly, as if I were about to enter a cathedral instead of a luncheon, and I let the air settle in my lungs like mercury. Then I step across the threshold. The room is a rectangle of mahogany and restraint. 12 chairs, 12 place cards, 12 egos upholstered in Italian wool. 3 of the chairs are already occupied: the CEO, the venture capitalist who owns the building, and the woman whose title I have never quite learned, but whose signature can move markets. They do not look up immediately. This is normal. Power does not rush recognition. It waits to see if recognition is necessary. I do not rush to fill the silence. I walk to my seat, fourth from the left, calculated to be neither head nor foot, neither edge nor center, pull the chair out with the same motion I would use to draw a sword, and sit. My spine is a spear. My shoulders occupy the exact amount of space they are entitled to, no more, no less. I place my phone face down, screen black as obsidian, because the weak need constant reassurance that they are still connected to the world. Conversation is already underway. A low current of numbers and geopolitics. I do not speak. I listen with the patience of a sniper. When the CEO makes a joke about quarterly targets, a ripple of laughter circles the table like a school of fish. I do not laugh. I let my mouth remain a straight line, a horizon that promises nothing. The laughter falters, not because I have done anything dramatic, but because absence is more disruptive than presence. The CEO glances at me, a flicker of curiosity. This is the first victory. I am no longer background noise. A waiter appears, white gloves, posture of a ballet dancer, offering mineral water that costs more per ounce than gasoline. I accept without thanking him. Gratitude before value has been exchanged is a confession of inferiority. I will thank him later, if he earns it, with a nod that costs me nothing, and still feels like currency to him. Across the table, the venture capitalist is telling a story about a startup that failed because the founder kept apologizing for raising prices. The room chuckles knowingly. I watch their eyes. They are not laughing at the story. They are laughing at the reflex they recognize in themselves. I wait until the chuckle subsides, then say, "Apology is the first discount you give away before the customer even asks." My voice is low, flat, final. It lands like a gavel. The laughter stops. The venture capitalist tilts his head, reassessing. Second victory. The woman with the market-moving signature leans forward. Her earrings, small platinum scythes, catch the light. "So you don't believe in customer diplomacy?" she asks. The question is bait, a hook disguised as curiosity. I could explain. I could cite case studies, psychology, the erosion of margin. Instead, I let 3 heartbeats of silence pass. In that silence, I can feel the room recalibrate, like a compass finding true north. Then I say, diplomacy is for diplomats. Business is for owners. I do not elaborate. The hook dissolves. She nods once, a small, almost imperceptible movement that is the equivalent of a handshake among equals. Third victory. The salad arrives. Microgreens arranged like a topographical map. I eat slowly, deliberately, as if each leaf were a negotiation. I do not mirror the other's small talk about weekend villas or minor scandals. Mirroring is camouflage, and camouflage is what prey does. When the CEO asks what I think of the new AI regulations, I do not rush to fill the gap with qualifiers. I chew, swallow, place the fork down with the precision of a surgeon setting a scalpel. Then I say, Regulation is the tax incumbents pay to keep insurgents out. The smart insurgents build offshore. I offer no apology, no softening. The statement is a blade. If they want the handle, they must reach for it. The venture capitalist smiles, not warmly, but the way a wolf smiles when it discovers the trap is empty. Fourth, victory. Dessert is a sphere of chocolate, so dark it absorbs light. As the waiter sets it down, I catch the eye of a man at the far end, whose name I do not know, but whose reputation precedes him like a weather front. He has been silent the entire meal, observing the way a chess player observes the middle game. His gaze is a test. I meet it. We stare for a full 5 seconds, long enough for the room to notice, long enough for the air to thicken. Then he inclines his head, a fractional bow that is not submission but recognition. Fifth, victory. The bill arrives, leather folder discreet as a confession. I do not reach for my wallet. I do not offer to split. I wait. The CEO signs without looking at the total. The cost is trivial compared to the data he has gathered. As we stand, I make no move to linger, no attempt to extend the conversation. Power exits cleanly, leaving absence that feels like presence. I walk to the elevator alone. Inside, the mirrored walls reflect me from every angle, no longer a ghost, no longer camouflage, but a man carved from the same stone as the building itself. In the lobby, the marble echoes my footsteps back to me like applause. I do not check my phone. I do not look around to see who noticed. Visibility, once claimed, does not require confirmation. Outside, the city is a circuit board of light and ambition. I step into the flow of pedestrians and feel, for the first time in years, the subtle shift people part around me, the way water parts around a ship whose course is already set. I am not louder. I am not richer. I am simply no longer transmitting the 13 frequencies of erasure. The absence of apology has become a kind of armor, and the silence I carry is no longer a vacancy, but a weight that others must now navigate. I walk past a cafe where a young man sits hunched over a laptop, shoulders curved inward, like parentheses around a sentence he is afraid to finish. I see in him the habits I have spent months excising, the laugh that arrives too early, the nod that seeks permission, the eyes that dart to the floor when conversation turns sharp. I do not stop to offer advice. Mentorship is a currency that must be rationed, but I do pause long enough to catch his gaze. I hold it for 3 seconds, flat and calm, then look away. He straightens almost imperceptibly, as if someone has reminded him he owns a spine, a small transference, a ripple in the hierarchy. Sixth, victory. Later, in a meeting room high above the river, I sit at a table where the stakes are higher and the smiles are thinner. A partner, older, sharper, accustomed to deference, leans back and says, "You're younger than I expected." The words are a probe, a test of whether I will apologize for my age, for my presence, for the audacity of occupying the same oxygen. I do not smile. I do not explain. I simply reply, age is a proxy for experience. Experience is a proxy for results. Results are here. I slide a single sheet of paper across the table, numbers, projections, a signature line already prepared. The partner reads. The room waits. When he looks up, his eyes have recalibrated. Seventh, victory. Weeks pass. The habits I have shed. Apology in tone, laughter as camouflage, gratitude as preemptive surrender, leave behind a space that fills not with arrogance but with gravity. I learn to sit in silence without flinching. I learn to answer questions with questions that force others to reveal their own assumptions. I learn that stillness can be a form of violence, gentle but absolute. I learn that the most dangerous man in the room is not the one who speaks loudest, but the one whose presence makes everyone else measure their words. One evening, I find myself in an elevator with the woman whose earrings once tested me. We are alone. The doors close. She does not speak, but her reflection in the brass panel is a conversation. After 3 floors, she says, "You've changed." I do not ask how. I do not explain. I simply nod. The elevator reaches the lobby. She steps out first. I follow. We do not exchange numbers or promises. In the economy of power, such things are redundant. But I see in the way she holds her shoulders that the hierarchy has shifted, minutely but irrevocably. 8th victory. Months later, at a gala where champagne flows like liquid hierarchy, I stand near a window overlooking the city. A senator approaches, trailed by aides who orbit him like anxious moons. He begins with small talk, then tests. Some say your methods are abrupt. The word hangs between us like a gauntlet. I sip champagne, let the silence stretch until it becomes a third participant. Then I say, efficiency is often mistaken for rudeness by those who confuse motion with progress. The senator laughs, not the nervous laugh of habit, but a sound that acknowledges the blade. 9th victory. The victories accumulate not as trophies but as recalibrations. I do not keep score. The score keeps me. I do not seek applause. Applause is the currency of the invisible, paid in advance for performances they hope will be remembered. Instead, I cultivate the smallest unit of power, the moment when someone realizes they cannot predict me. That moment is a seed. Plant enough of them, and you grow a forest where once there was only camouflage. One night I return to the apartment with the horizon line painting. I stand before it and realize the line has shifted. It is no longer a boundary between earth and sky, but a seam, a place where the visible world meets the invisible one I have been learning to navigate. I do not turn on the lights. I sit in the dark and feel the absence of the 13 habits, like the phantom ache of a limb no longer there. The silence, once a predator, now sits beside me like an ally. We listen together to the city breathing below us, a vast organism whose arteries pulse with attention and appetite. I understand now that visibility is not a spotlight but a gravity well. Once you occupy it, others cannot help but orbit. In the mirror the next morning, I practice the expression that has become second nature: calm, unreadable, a surface that reflects nothing but demands attention nonetheless. I do not smile, I do not frown, I simply exist, and that is enough. The man in the glass is no longer a ghost or a reflection. He is a signal, and the world is learning to tune in. I walk to the elevator. The doors open. Inside is the young man from the cafe, the one whose spine I reminded him he owned. He straightens when he sees me. I nod once. He nods back. The hierarchy ripples again, larger this time. 10th victory. We ride down together in silence. 2 men who have begun to understand that presence is not a performance but a posture, not a request but a declaration. The doors open onto the lobby, and we step out into the morning light, not as supplicants, not as performers, but as coordinates in a map that is being redrawn, simply because we refuse to be erased.